Foundation, our local preservation nonprofit, I had prepared remarks because we're supposed to keep this kind of short, but the one thing I forgot to put on here was, woohoo! It is a great and distinct pleasure to be a part of this celebration today. This award is, of course, in some measure, an acknowledgement of the importance of having historic resources in our community. Resources upon which to build, both figuratively and literally. It is also very simply a congratulations to the community that we figured that out and that we have built a unique and distinctive place that celebrates our history but is not a museum by any stretch of the imagination. My first responsibility today is to thank those who contributed to the actual nomination of Athens-Clarke County. And without their work and support, we wouldn't be here today. And as Chuck said, this nomination was submitted by the Athens Convention Visitors Bureau, the Athens Welcome Center, and the Athens-Clarke Heritage Foundation. So, I want to particularly acknowledge Hannah Smith with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, who spearheaded the effort and was responsible for pulling the nomination together and submitting it and really making this happen. And very, very appreciative to her. We should all be appreciative to her. In my mind, one of the best things about our submittal was the letters of support that we received. The writers of those letters really captured the essence of what makes Athens a distinctive destination, and we're grateful to them for providing a personal touch to basically our sales job. And I want to actually read you some quotes from some of those. I thought Heidi might take mine. I thought she might read it, but fortunately she didn't. So, in her words, where else can you find the location of the first garden club in the United States within blocks of the headquarters of one of the most successful rock bands in the world, REM? Where else can you find a tree that owns itself and the country's first African-American-owned vaudeville theater? Is there another place in the United States that combines a trapeze studio next door to a contemporary art center alongside studios for bands that prompted Rolling Stone magazine to name us the #1 college music scene in America? Heidi says, I like to tell folks that Athens is a place where music and football are played side by side. REM General Manager Bertus Downs brought his unique perspective to the nomination. As a successful touring and recording act, the members of REM have had the good fortune of traveling all over the world. The ability to travel has afforded REM a unique sense of place, and though the band has had many opportunities to relocate to bigger cities, they continue to call Athens home. Athens, Georgia is a one-of-a-kind place to call home, with a penchant for Southern hospitality with flair and charm. I like that. Native Athenian author and Georgia Commissioner of Labor Michael Thurman didn't mince words. Amid the oldest land-grant public university in the country, the Athens music scene, sidewalk cafes, and the State Botanical Garden of Georgia lies a destination of thriving cultural heritage. Mark McDonald, President and CEO of the Georgia Trust for Historic Preservation, gave us high praise. Athens, Georgia represents the goals and values of America's historic preservation movement. Its distinctive blend of cultural and historic resources makes it an attractive and exciting place to visit. Athens is an architectural and cultural gem. And finally, Catherine Lukowski, who's our Downtown Development Authority Director, made a good case for why she's in that position. I really think I liked hers the best. She had some great quotes. This is just one. If you are truly looking for a dynamic downtown, cultural diversity, attractive architecture, and a gorgeous southern town with roots 3 generations deep, we've got all of that and much, much more. Graceful architecture hangs on the streets that line downtown like cherished family portraits, reminding us where we've been and how far we've come. Biased though I may be, I challenge you to find a more vibrant, dynamic, and interesting downtown anywhere. Looking for a distinctive destination? How could you not choose Athens? Indeed. So, thank you. So, it is, without question, a very, very special privilege for me to stand here as the representative for the Athens-Clarke Heritage Foundation, which is an organization that has carried the preservation banner for this community for over 40 years. This designation is extremely gratifying to us, as it is an affirmation of the goals and our mission that we've had. But make no mistake, this designation, as Heidi said, more than anything else, acknowledges the leadership of and the choices made by a broad spectrum of individuals and organizations in this community. The Athens-Clarke County government, outstanding and an example of that. The University of Georgia, the Chamber of Commerce, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Classic Center, the business community, and the many individual business owners who have restored buildings in our downtown, the thriving cultural community of artists and musicians and performers of all types, our strong nonprofit contingent, our public library, individual property owners, our public education, and many, many more. We can all pat ourselves on the back for this designation, for our community's success is the result of a partnership in which we all participate. Because of all of you, Athens remains a vibrant place of discovery and charm. And we thank you for your part in this very special honor. Thank you. And now I'd like to turn the program over to Mr. Kevin Langston, who is the Assistant Commissioner for Tourism for the Georgia Department of Economic Development.
Thanks very much. Well, let me add the state's woo-hoo to but it is really a tremendous and well-deserved honor for Athens that we're learning about today. It's such an honor when prestigious organizations like the National Trust come back to remind us of things that, like the mayor said, we too often take for granted, that we already know that what a treasure we have here in Athens and what a great tourism product we have right outside our door, and so it's great to be reminded of that, so thank you. And you know, tourism is big business in Georgia. In 2007, Georgia welcomed 62 million visitors, and while 49% of those 62 million visitors were other Georgians out exploring our state, the other 51% were from other states and countries, bringing their dollars here to Georgia and leaving them. And they do spend dollars. Those 62 million tourists spent about $20.2 billion here in Georgia. Here in Clarke County, $207 million that we have spending by tourists here. And that ranks Georgia 8th among states as a tourist destination. And those 62 million visitors generated $1.5 billion in state and local tax revenues. Here in Clarke County, $14 million in tax revenues. And those tax revenues provide a lot of services to Georgia citizens. As a matter of fact, the tourism industry generates $510 in tax revenues for every household in Georgia. That's money that you don't have to pay in taxes because tourists pay it for us. So it's a great business that we sometimes forget about but need to be reminded of. You know, now more than ever, tourists are searching for the kind of distinctive and authentic destinations that the National Trust is honoring today. And we're fortunate here in Georgia to have one of the all-time best right here in Athens. And I want to encourage all of us to get out and experience all that Athens has to offer this year. My congratulations again.
So we'll close on that note. I mean, I'm ready for the big woohoo. I don't know about y'all, but thank you for being here. Really, we appreciate every one of you coming out today. It's really, we cherish this show of support, and we thank you so much. Karen, thank you for being here.
It was a pleasure.
Mayor Davison, thank you so much. Kevin, thank you as well. Again, thank you to the Junior League of Athens and the Taylor-Grady House for hosting us today. We really appreciate that. Thank you both very much. You're standing there right in front of me. Center Stage Catering as well. The Athens-Clarke Heritage Foundation, and of course the Athens-Clarke County Unified Government, especially the Public Information Office. You know, Athens is the consummate college town, so I'm going to give you some homework. Keep an eye out this year for the promotions that you will see coming through. You know, we count on you to share this information with your friends and family members. Take them out to a place that you haven't had a chance to go to yet. Go to that spot that you've been meaning to go to but you haven't been to. Share the information with the people who you love. And let's all celebrate this for the whole year, 2009. And I would encourage you each month to pick something new to do. January, Classic City Tours. That's your assignment for January. All right. So, thank you again. Enjoy yourselves. Have something to eat and drink. Visit, celebrate. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.